Hello, 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 my friends. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good whatever part of the day it is for you all. It is Sunday, and this is the second stream of the day. And I am happy to hang out with all you wonderful folks. Engelbane, I see you in chat there for the second time of the day. You may notice we are missing one of our people today. At the bit of a last minute, Jeremiah was not able to join us today, so it's going to be the five of us checking out the Sears pool. Sears pool, whatever it's called, to see Madame Eva. And we have these awesome people here today, so I'm going to do a quick intro. We have over here on the top left, we have Archon playing Ulrich, Doreen in the middle playing the amazing everybody but us as our DM. Down at the bottom left, we have Mr. Shogi 3000 playing the amazing Galen the dwarf. And then down on the bottom right, we have Zach playing Connard. And of course, I am our indubitable bard. That's not a word. I am the bard, the crazy one who can't hurl insults correctly. I'm gonna have to look up an insult generator today if that becomes a thing. But we are gonna play today, and so I'm gonna throw it over to Doreen to see what we have in store for today's crazy adventure.
Yes. So first things first, we're gonna have to backtrack a little bit because I'm terrible at my job as DM. So last time, if you guys recall, you ended up leaving the village of Barovia with Irina. Along the way, it was mostly a quiet trip. You knew ahead of time that you wanted to head out to Sears Pool to see this Madame Eva, who has previously kind of spoken to you and beckoned you to come visit her in her encampment throughout your dreams. Along the way, though, you happened upon a strange individual dressed in black robes, a leather mask, wide brim black hat, who basically, he wasn't all there, and he wanted to make sure that you guys were free of plague. And in doing so, he drove a couple of you to madness for a while. But eventually, through the might of the dwarves, frankly, you guys were able to put him down. You got a fair bit of loot off of him, if I recall. And so, after that, you continued on your way to the Sears Pool. You wanted to get there as quickly as possible because nighttime is approaching. So, you guys are now walking down the Slavich Road. The woods on either side of you. You haven't, like I said, we're backtracking, so you haven't quite made it to the pool yet, but you know you're not that far off, maybe about 2 hours away or so. And as you're there, the sun is starting to set. You reach a crossing. The road splits in either directions. There is a signpost that does indicate if you take the road to your left, that will continue on towards the Locky. The road to your right will continue on to the Sears Pool and Sears Fall encampment. And as you guys are making your way, the hairs on the back of your neck and your arms are starting to raise. You're getting this sense of being watched. What's the marching order here?
I believe Galen was in the
up
front.
in the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely Evander would be right next to Galen.
Okay.
Not in front.
Is Connard in the back?
Connard will be the rear guard then.
Okay.
Yeah, Archon's Ulrich, who am I, is gonna walk next to Tasso.
I'm not the only one who mixes up their own name.
It was that gem from last time.
Connard and Galen, both make a perception check for me, please. Conager, just kind of, looking around, doing your best to keep guard back there, because night is coming. With the darkness, it's not safe to be on the roads. That's all you've ever heard since you come to Barovia, is to not be out after dark. So you guys are making your way. As you are turning past, making this turn towards Tser's pool, you catch sight of a body in this gallows that's here next to basically this graveyard at this crossing. And as the body is swinging, it begins to turn. And for a moment, you think you saw your own face hung, your own self here within this body. With a quick, you try to get your bearings, quick blink, it's gone. Galen, as you are up at the front here, surprisingly, you're the first one to make note of the sound of wheels. It seems like this squeaking sound. You halt the party, turn around, and you see Granny pushing along her pushcart. She's the one that sold you the meat pies, if you recall. And Evander, at this point, something stirs in you. Knowing that she has those meat pies, are already feeling a little bit peckish. I'll show her to you guys one more time.
Oh, there she is.
I don't know why you guys dislike her so much, but I think she's adorable. But
she can't even see.
As she's getting closer, though, she doesn't have any meat pies in her cart. There's actually a burlap sack in there. And she's just trudging along. And as she's kind of getting closer, she just kind of nods to you and says, "Evening. You might want to get off the road soon, eh?"
Evander's gonna say, "Granny, what are you doing here?"
"Oh, well, I have to go back to my bakery to make more pies overnight."
How did you get here so fast?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I walked these roads all my life. I'm more fit than I look. At this point, let me pull out Tasso's sheet. There was something I needed him to do. So I'm going to have him do a perception check. Let's roll it here. So
Ulrich's eyeing the sack.
Okay. And as she's giving you the nod and saying, "There'll be more in the morning if you wish to buy more pies, Evander, my dear. The best place if you want them first thing in the morning, absolutely fresh, would be in Valaki. But you can also catch me along the road as well."
Looking at the sack, does it seem to be moving? Does it seem like a body could fit in there? Like what?
It's a pretty large sack. It's not like I mean, I guess you could probably fit a couple animals, some sacks,
A child,
and things like that in there. And as she's starting to walk away, Ulrich, since you're closest, you kind of hear Tasso say, you see him sniffing. He says, "Smells human."
in the sack?
Granny, is your bakery, is this far outside of town?
Well, I own an old windmill at the top of the hill. It's outside of Valaki. So I have to get there soon. Have a good night. And she begins to
Wait.
pop away.
It's not safe to travel these roads at night, Granny. Just a few hours ago, we were attacked by a madman. We're on our way to the Tser's pool for now, but if you'd like, you can join us. We can all travel in safety.
She said she's fine by herself. She doesn't need us.
I'm
Know who
fine.
the bishop is, Granny?
The bishop.
Do
You
you know
mean
who
the
the good doctor is?
Good doctor. She looks genuinely confused by the term good doctor.
I immediately. Who has the hand?
The hand. I
Someone
do.
took the hand. Yeah. Okay.
Oh wait, did I? Did I?
Yeah,
I don't
I
remember.
think so.
I think I ended up leaving it. I took the monkey hand, right, or just a monkey skull.
It was a
Yeah.
monkey's skull, yes.
Okay, but the
Okay,
human
okay.
hand, I don't think I
thought,
took it.
I thought he took the
Yeah.
hand.
No, I wanted to, but I didn't.
Connard would not be so ghoulish as to take a hand. He just took a vial of the dead man's blood.
Right. Yeah. I'd like to lean into Evander and just go, laddie. How did she get out here so quickly? Could there be more than one of her? Is it the same woman?
Avender's
Starting to walk away from you guys at this point.
Evander probably would have seen her and thought this is the same woman he's bought pies from every day, right? Or the last 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Evander's like, he kind of shrugs. I mean, she said she knows these roads. Man, I could go for pie, though.
Ulrich is gonna pipe up and say, "Wait a minute. Tasso said he smelled something human."
Well, she certainly doesn't look like a dwarf to me.
How tall is she?
That-
Just in general?
She's pretty short. I mean, she's a short little old lady, maybe about 4'4".
Well,
No,
she's
that's
short,
pretty
it's shorter
short.
than us.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not her. And then I'm gonna say to Tasso, "Did you mean her or what's in the sack smells human?"
Something in the sack.
I'm gonna elbow Evander and just go, charm her, laddie.
Why?
Well, I'm right next to Evander. Can if I'm trying to whisper it in, could Archon hear that?
I mean, I kind of walked up to. I guess you could say it in Dwarvish if you don't want me to hear.
No. Yeah, I would just said it in common.
The way I'm seeing it, you guys are all kind of like
I thought we
together.
were kind of huddling out as she's walking away, like talking about her.
Okay. Well, if Galen actually says to Evander to charm her, he's going to be like, okay. So he is going to immediately try to
No.
cast
No.
charm person.
Uh-huh.
Let me make sure I'm doing this right real quick. At level 1 on
While you're doing-
Granny as she tries to walk away.
And Ulrich's kind of trying to disrupt this. Like, why would you do that? Why do you want to talk to her? Just let her go.
We can't let her travel these roads alone after dark. We've seen the dangers that are present.
Yeah, like
She
her.
may-
There's a
she may-
person in her sack.
That's absurd.
Tasso said he smelled something human in her sack.
I-
That sounds really
Humans have been
gross.
handling the sack. Like, who do you think made the sack or uses the sack?
She uses the sack. She's got something in the sack.
And as you guys are sitting here talking, you look back towards the road where she walked down, and she's gone. There's no sign of her, or the cart, or the sack.
Did I was looking at her trying to charm her. Did I see her disappear?
Well, you haven't actually cast it, but yeah, I'll say.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought I did when I put it in the thing there.
Well, yeah, I'll say you saw her just kind of poof.
Wow. Okay. Evander was in the middle of like trying to, I don't know, talk her down and talk about her pies and convince her to come with us when he sees this and he goes, Galen, I was gonna do what you said and she disappeared.
What do you mean, laddie? She just disappeared.
I don't know. I like tug on his shirt and point where she was. There's nothing there and I say, I was just about to try to charm her and I swear she was there and then she was gone. I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, because she practices some kind of evil magic. She's got people in her sack.
Evander kind of just chuckles. Oh, be quiet, Ulrich. You don't know if there's got
That's
people
what
in
Tasso
the sack."
said. Is Tasso
Connor-
saying anything? Is he just...
He's backing you up. He's
Okay.
confirming that he did smell a human.
In the sack?
Yes.
Okay.
But not her.
You see,
Uh, Connor. You don't
Connor
see anyone.
cast the spell that I just linked.
Yeah. You don't see her or anyone else.
Oh god.
Well, she's not invisible, I can tell you that much. Or if she is, she's no longer in the area. So just to make sure I'm understanding correctly, like we're looking at a fork in the road in this picture. Did she go down the opposite fork of the one that we're taking to the pool?
Yes.
To Valaki?
Yes.
So I
Saw
think
her.
I think we're diverting to the pool before Valaki, if I'm remembering the
I
region
believe
map
so. Right.
correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What? How is Arena taking this?
I would say she's a little bit maybe concerned and weirded out by Archon's
Sack reference?
like your kind of general distrust towards Granny doesn't make sense to her. Because she's always been a feature in the village of Barovia, selling pies. She's always been there since Irina was young. Um,
Even
she
if
just
Tasso was saying it too.
that would confuse her. She wouldn't know that connection. Like why there would be a human in the sack. So she's a little bit concerned about that, but I don't know, she just kind of has known Granny all her life, and so she doesn't really have a reason to distrust her. But it is concerning about a human in a sack.
Evander would like to ask Irina, do you know if Granny is any sort of magic user? I mean, I've never seen somebody just disappear like that before.
I mean, does work the magic with face, so maybe something there, but nothing that I've ever witnessed firsthand.
Is she a Vistani?
No. In fact, I don't believe the Vistani welcome Granny.
Why not?
I don't know. It's what I've heard, talk.
Probably because what's in her sack.
Yes, perhaps. Maybe they know something we don't. But it is getting dark, so shall we continue?
Yeah, Ulrich, you can ask Granny about the sack later. We need to get somewhere to cover before it's dark.
That's what I want to do. And then Ulrich will look at Evander and be like, ugh, I wonder what you really ate in those pies. And he kind of steps away from him.
Evander just shrugs, like, I don't know, tasted like
Chicken?
yeah, chicken or anything but goat.
So you guys go ahead and make your way down the path that leads to Tser. And as you're making this last leg of the journey, Evander kind of like this feeling of sadness washes over you, and it's very palpable. It's like this pit of depression kind of takes over, and the rest of you guys, if Evander is nearby sight, you would just see him kind of absent-mindedly going through his bag and picking out the last bit of the meat pie that he had. He just begins eating.
I'd like to stop. Obviously I'll be right next to Evander all the way. I'd like to grab his hand before he puts it in his mouth.
What are you doing? I'm hungry.
Laddie, just put it down.
But aren't you hungry? It's been like hours since we ate.
We'll eat when we get in, Laddie.
How compelled is Evander to try to eat this pie?
Is it like crack addict?
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Oh, God.
Evander's going to continue to try to eat it, then he's like, just get your own, to Galen kind of thing.
You see, he's been affected by the magic. I told you not to eat those pies.
You're just jealous because you're hungry too.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight with Evander. I'm just gonna watch him.
Oric's gonna ask Tosso,
Okay.
can you smell what Evander's eating right now? It's not human, is it?
So Tassel just kind of goes over, gets unusually close to this meat pie, takes a big whiff. Can't tell. The herbs. All I smell is plants. Cooked meat. I don't know what type it is.
Evander will say, "I'll tell you exactly what it is. I got a delicious. Oh, what did I get?
It was a savory one. That's all I remember.
Was it the savory goat?
I want to say it was
It
goat.
wasn't the goat.
No.
It might have been. It was nothing too exotic. I don't
No.
think.
No, in fact, I think you just got one with like the potatoes and leeks and parsnips or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like the second one might not even had meat because all I said was anything but
Really?
goat.
Mm-hmm.
The first
Right.
one I did, I think, was like chicken or something, but this one I think you're right, it was like potatoes and parsnips or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I recall.
Tofu.
Yeah, tofurkey or something. But Evander's
Could be
gonna
a
be
good
like, he kind of thinks everybody's a little jealous because he's eating this and they're hungry, so he's gonna be like, kind of hoarding it as he's eating this down.
So he only ate half the pie originally. So he's eaten another half. Or he's attempting to, right?
Right. He's attempting to. You said you're trying to stop him, and he's all
Yeah,
like,
I'm not gonna fight with Evander.
"It's not worth it."
Yeah. Not with Evander. I mean, if he's really that hungry.
He's high maintenance.
I'll
You're
just-
used to him, being like, "It's my dinner time. You can't
Yeah.
stop me."
So I just grab the reins and I just continue to lead arena.
Well, gentlemen, lady, the sun continues on its course. Shall we do the same?
Yes.
Aye, laddie. Let's get in as soon as we can.
Evander with mouthful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Okay. So as you guys make your way, about another hour and a half passes. And then finally the road that you're on gradually begins to disappear. And it's replaced by this twisted, muddy path that goes through the trees. You see deep ruts in the earth are evidence of the comings and goings of wagons. The canopy of mist and branches suddenly gives way to black clouds far above. However, there is a clearing here next to a river that widens to form a small lake several hundred feet across. You do see 5 colorful wagons, and then 5 colorful round tents. And there are a couple wagons here and there kind of throughout the encampment itself. Each tent is about 10 feet in diameter and is pitched outside a ring of the wagons itself. There is a much larger tent stands near the shore of the lake. Its sagging form lit from within. Near this tent you see 8 unbridled horses as they drink from the river. And you can hear sound of, people chattering, laughing, and as you kind of get closer, you see that they have noticed you approaching as well. And a man, maybe about 6 foot, broad shoulders, but still kind of has a little paunch to his little belly. Oh, he's actually wearing kind of muted clothing, browns and grays. But he waves you over. "Hey, old friends! Come in, come join us!"
Hail, friend! Evander's gonna kind of call out as they walk forward.
Okay. So him and then another woman, about also middle-aged as well. she comes over with him, and she gives you a small smile and kind of waves you into camp, welcoming you.
Evander would like to approach them and say, "It is a sight for sore eyes to see civilized folk in an uncivilized forest. We are travelers who have just recently come from the village of Barovia. Is this the Tser's pool?"
Aye, it is. In fact, I think you were expected. And he kind of looks over to the woman next to him. Wouldn't you say so, Rena? And she just kind of smiles and nods. He says, but first, come in. Have a drink.
What is her name?
Rena.
Rena
So
and
we have
Irina.
Irina and Rena.
I don't pick the names, guys.
Oh, these Barovian. Can I do an insight check just to see if they have some kind of ulterior motives or seem like they're trying to entrap us?
Sure. What's your modifier?
+4, but I still have disadvantage from my exhaustion.
I would say based off their warm welcome and their body language, that they seem genuine. You know, they're welcoming you into the camp. You don't get any like shady vibes. And looking at the camp itself, you actually see that there's actually a fair number of families here, which kind of puts you at ease a little bit.
Dwarvish, I would like to say. Not much of a pool, more like a river.
Are you saying that
Well-
to somebody in particular?
No response.
Just in general.
Maybe it
There's no
narrows
pool
out
here.
farther on. Connard will respond in Dwarven.
That's one large pool.
Evander would like
Wow.
to kind of bow and introduce himself as they walk in and say, "I am Evander, and these are my companions. We have traveled far. May I know the names of you wonderful people who have welcomed us here?"
Oh yes, of course. Where are my manners? Serena gets on me about it all the time. I am a Raja. This is my wife, Rena. You won't find a fairer beauty among the Vistani. And she just kind of, smiles to herself and rolls her eyes. Like she's heard this before from her husband all the time. But
Is
still,
it true, though? Have we found a better beauty among the Vistani?
How many Vistani do you know?
Well, there was the guy who gave us a ride in his wagon and his wife. I guess
Mhm.
the three innkeeper chicks
Yeah,
aren't
Alinka,
Vistani
Mirabelle, and
anymore.
Sorvia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Maribel was pretty attractive. Not as attractive as Arena. I'm gonna be honest, but I'm just saying. Maribel who?
So they invite you in. As you come into this encampment again, you see a lot of families of different generations. The youngest, there's a couple like toddlers puttering about, running around the wagons. They're kept far from the fire, obviously. But you also see a fair number of like older women and men, maybe the grandparents. I would also say, as you kind of see a lot of, it seems different to you. So before, the Vistani that you have met, especially the three that were in the tavern in the village of Barovia, were brightly dressed, had a lot of jewelry, just kind of very gaudy, just looking for that kind of attention, I guess. Most of the people here are more somberly dressed. There are a few young women that are wearing the brightly colored skirts with like maybe a gray or black blouse on top. But you see some people cooking over some of the smaller fires. It just seems like people hanging out, doing the best they can, making a life here. It seems strangely normal compared to what you would expect here in Barovia. It has a sense of home.
I'm sorry, can you give me the name of the gentleman who invited us into camp again?
A Raja.
Raja and Rena.
Can you spell that for me?
Yes. So they bring you into the center of the camp here at that center fire. They have you sit down on some little like stools that they have. Rena, without again saying a word, kind of goes off and begins pouring a tea for each of you, and she offers it to you. And Araja says, I know I don't need to do this, but courtesy does lend itself. I'm gonna assume you are here to see Eva. No?
Yes.
I
Well, give me just a moment and I will go see if she is ready.
Does he leave us alone at this point?
He leaves you alone in the middle, but Rena is still here, kind of tending to.
Ulrich just wants to lean over to Tasso and whisper as best he can, like, is the tea okay to drink? Does it seem fine?
He just takes a drink, shrugs. He's okay.
I want to smell it.
Okay.
I'm watching Ulrich the whole time, just going like, should we all drink it?
Well,
At night.
Well, he is proficient with the herbalism kit, so I don't know if this helps him would help him identify any potential like poisons or sedatives or something that might be in here.
If you had time to really like mess with it,
Okay, but not just from smelling. Don't pick up anything.
you don't really pick up anything off-putting
Okay.
that would hurt you just from smelling.
Okay, I'll take a little.
Okay.
Let's try it out.
And Rena, seeing you do that, says, if you would like some sugar, we do have some that I can offer. If you
No,
sweet side.
no, it's fine. Thank you. I'll just pretend to drink.
Evander wants, like, as a side, he's really picky about his pies, his tea. Don't worry about him.
She just smiles and nods at you.
Ulrich looks very uncomfortable at that.
At this point,
I don't drink it, by the way.
okay. Does Connor drink it?
Connor doesn't even take a cup if it's offered.
Okay.
I'll hold it and just kind of look at it and stare at it like, I don't know what this is.
Evander is a musician. Anytime anybody gives him free food or drink, he immediately is like, thank you. And he'll take seconds, please.
Yeah, I would say you also kind of smell it, but then also begin to sip it. It maybe isn't to her liking, but she doesn't want to be, so she continues to take little sips.
Connor will whisper to Galen in Dwarvish, humans and elves like to drink water that's been boiled with leaves in it. I don't recommend it.
Back in Dwarvish, I just go, sounds horrible, laddie.
Aye, indeed.
And I just kind of like, just sit it down on the ground next to me.
Okay.
Gently, though. I don't want to break the china.
That does sound kind of gross now you put it that way.
Evander wants to say, kind of under his breath back in Dwarvish to Galen, have you drank what you've made before? Come on.
It's good for the stomach, laddie. Good for the stamina.
Ah!
Araja comes back, and he waves back to the really large camp that's closest to the shore, and says, Madam Eva, we'll see you now.
Okay.
Evander's going to be like, all of us? Together?
Yes,
Well,
at least for now, but later.
will we be able to have private time with her?
Private time? Oh,
Oh, come on.
You've never even met her.
for a person.
That's her on a
Like-
date.
A one-on-one?
Personal reading. I'm sure she would be able to accommodate.
I can't say anything. Self-touching, private time. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
You got a track record.
Oh God.
But for now, she does wish that you all join her.
Okay.
She's been expecting all of you.
Thank you. We'll get up and head towards Madame Eva's.
Ulrich
I guess-
actually gets up really quick and like is one of the first people out at this. He's very eager.
Irina kind of tugs at you, Galen, and asks, "Should I go too?"
My lady, it's best
Okay.
if we all stay together.
All right then. So she stands up and watches Ulrich shuffle really quickly towards the tent. That's how I envision him. And says, I guess we shall follow him, no?
I guess
So
we
you
all
there.
follow into the tent.
Yeah, follow.
But before you even get to even enter the tent, you see this hand come out, move the fabric to the side, and I will just show you the picture of the woman that you see because that's just easy.
It's Granny.
I hope it's
I
not
hope it's not
Granny. Oh
Granny.
no! Oh, that would suck.
All along.
It's
Okay.
Granny. It's
Okay.
Granny. It looks like her.
She doesn't
Oh, no,
have
this
the
is like a
festive
10 compared to Granny,
flowers
come on.
in her hair. No, Granny
Okay.
had better style, I think.
Did
This
she?
is Granny's little sister right here.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
see her kind of pull the fabric back and says, "It is rude to keep an old woman waiting. Come in and be welcome."
Ulrich's kind of stammering, like, sorry, okay. And we'll walk in.
So you walk into her tent, which is elaborately decorated. On the floor itself, or the ground, it's actually covered in a bunch of rugs and just a variety of colors. So there's not one bit of grass or rocks or anything like that showing at the bottom here. You see there's shelves and bookcases and things like that kind of on one side, and it's just cluttered with a bunch of weird knickknacks that just seem arcane and unusual in nature. In the center, you do find a rather large round table. One chair on one side, there are multiple stools encircling it. She walks over to the main chair, a larger chair. And you notice that she walks, she's pretty spry. She's not like hunched over or anything like that. She seems to be in good health, good shape for someone as old as she looks. So she takes a seat and motions for you all to take a stool.
Evan
Ulrich
kind of wants to take a look at all the little knickknacks as he's kind of walking in.
Yeah, you see like a bunch of crystals, a bunch of different decks of cards of some sort. You see a lot of herbs, some vials, just some random rocks. You do see a few like seeing crystal balls here and there of a variety of sizes. You see some amulets and just rings and all sorts of interesting stuff is just littered throughout this tent.
And
You also are smelling a very strong sense of incense that have this really deep, earthy scent to them. And of course, there's candles lighting up the entire tent. Could be a safety hazard, but what else would we do?
and a lot of these items would seem familiar to Ulrich because of his studies of the arcane and looking things up in books.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably piece together some of the stuff that you're looking at. Same with Connard. It's probably a little bit rudimentary and not as like academic as maybe Connard is, but so she sits in front of you, and you all finally shuffle in and take your seat. Irina kind of pulls up a stool and sits behind, just a little bit off to the side, closest to Galen, but behind him still. And Madame Eva finally sits down and takes a look at you, and you can see physically, you know, she has very wrinkly skin, gray hair, but her eyes are not that of an old woman. They shine bright, they're clear, and they look into each of you for a moment. And she can give you basically her welcome. And she looks at you, Evander. Says, Evander Naevo, a man of song, a man of stories, a man of jokes, and a man of tricks. Yet, a lonely man. Maybe that's why you constantly seek the attention and admiration of strangers. Maybe that is why you keep your dwarf friend so close.
Evander's gonna kind of look
She looked
confusedly.
close, and she asks, where do you think this road would lead you? The same as your father? Lost?
I'm not lost. Evander gets a little defensive.
We shall see. Still, well met and welcome.
Madam?
Her eyes to you, Galen. Galen Stonefire, better known as Galen Brightburn now, Paladin of the Shield, devoted to your deity, Helm, god of protection, sworn to your oath of vengeance, honesty, courage, compassion, honor, and duty. Will those tenets ease and cleanse your guilt? Perhaps not. Which may be why you drown your worries in drink.
I immediately kind of put my hand over the flask and just slide it back down.
You are well met and welcome here in this tent.
Thank you, my lady.
Mandaris Heron, shall I say Tasso, Daruda. That is what you answer to now. It's all you know now. You wander as lost as the dog at your side. You and the dog have a lot in common. Both strays, feeling of unwantedness, homeless, misunderstood. What would your mother do if she were to see you now? What would your mentor do if she saw you now? Something to ponder later tonight. Still, you are welcome in a moment. And then Connard and Dard, always in the shadow. Shadow of your thunder twin, Arngrim. The shadow of wizards greater than you. The shadow your school of magic casts upon you and the eyes of others. Fools, you would say, no doubt, huh? Still,
Misguided, perhaps.
and welcome. Ulrich and Lankia.
And Lenica, but it's okay.
I know. Son of the beautiful Calamis.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Am I?
Okay. I heard.
I will start over. Son of the beautiful temptress Calamis. You have her eyes. Has anyone told you that? Tend garden, unguided, arcane lore. Your magic, unchecked. You have known tragedy all your life. Yet you are closer to home here than you ever have. Welcome. And well met. I have been expecting all of you. Maybe not you, Irene. And Irina just kind of shifts. Her body kind of spins it. But I have been looking forward.
Sorry, you're cutting in and out.
Is it just because I'm not speaking loud enough?
I think so.
I think the sensitivity needs to be maybe a little bit more on your mic.
I think it's more of a connection issue.
No,
Yeah.
not during Madame Eva's portion.
Time. She pulls out a deck of cards and lays them on the, just sits it on the table with you. And she puts the cards first in front of Evander and says, "Please, cut the deck, would you?"
Of course, my lady. He takes and kind of right in the middle, cuts it, and puts the other half right next to the deck.
Okay. She takes the top card from the second deck and puts it in front of her. She takes one of the halves that you've cut and puts it in front of Galen and says, "Please, do the same." She takes the other half of the deck that Evander cut and puts it in front of Connor. "Cut this deck." And then eventually she'll take one part of the ones that each of you guys have cut, put it in front of Ulrich, and he will do the same. And from each of the ones that you've cut, she'll take one card. And she places the rest in a pile to the side. She arranges it in the shape of a cross, as you see in front of you. And she says, "I do know what has brought you here, and I do know that you will be unsuccessful without my guidance. These cards will reveal a destiny. They will reveal information that will be useful to taking down Strahd on Tser, which I assume is your goal, is it not?"
It is.
And you can
Is
just
it?
hear Irina gasp a little bit. Let me tell you, you're not the first group of adventurers with these grand ideals. You may not be the last. I do not know what your final chapter will be in this life. But if you were so fit to be brought here, then you do stand a chance. Especially if you heed the information in these cards.
But Madame Eva,
Yes.
Aren't you friends with Strahd? Why would you want to help us destroy him?
I have known Strahd a terribly long time. But does every night not have its dawn? Strahd cannot rule forever. He knows this. I know this. His day will come. He
And who
just
will
seeks to break
replace him?
the curse before that day.
And
What did you say?
since-
Zach, what did you say?
And who will replace him as ruler of Barovia?
That remains yet to be seen. Maybe one of you? Maybe a native Barovian will take up the mantle.
And become like Strahd? Or be a different kind of ruler?
More than likely a different kind of ruler.
And Strahd knows all this. He's accepting that one day his reign will come to an end.
Have you not accepted that one day you will die?
Yeah, but Strahd was so powerful. I didn't know if he expected that.
Strahd is anything but stupid. He's a very, very clever man. He knows how the weave works. He knows life and death. And even though he has skirted death for many centuries, he cannot do it forever.
And does
Well,
Ulrich know what she means by the weave?
I think most magic uses
Okay, if so, like the usual music.
Yeah.
I was gonna say in the Forgotten Realms, the weave refers to magical forces. I
Right,
was gonna ask if that's what you meant.
that allows magical manifestation in the prime material. We're gonna get technical. Ooh. Super nerd.
Indeed. So now, any more questions before we begin?
Evander does want to say, why us? Me and Galen are friends, but we'd never even met each other before we were brought here.
That is always the question. Many do believe that the mists have mind of their own and their own reasoning for things. Others assume that it is Strahd himself that brings people to his land, his playthings, to challenge him. After all, he has lived a very long time. Maybe he's bored. But there are some who believe there's a grander purpose to bringing strangers into Barovia. And it is not the Mist or Strahd's doing. So who is to say why it was you? Why it was him?
You mean it could be some gods that brought us here?
There are no gods in Barovia anymore. But maybe out of Barovia, perhaps.
When she was talking about Strahd and him, looking forward to his destiny and accepting it, did it seem like she was talking about it almost like in an amused way, like, well, one day he's gonna die and he's okay with that? Like there was almost like this kind of casual demeanor she had?
I would say it's very casual. It's something that to her, it's inevitable. It's bound to happen. It is what it is. So for her to speak of it does seem fairly casual, which is maybe a little bit odd considering that he's a vampire who could technically live forever. But she's certain that one day it will all be over for him.
And it seems like she's almost expressing that Strahd himself is maybe amused to some degree by this. Like there's some kind of game aspect to it?
You do get the sense, especially when she mentioned that maybe you were brought here by Strahd plaything, that he does see this as a game.
Where he could potentially die. But I guess
Yeah.
that's exciting for a vampire.
I don't know. I've never lived for him, so.
Okay.
So at this point, you see all the candles within the tent dim, and it's almost in darkness. The only ones that are still fairly lit are the ones here at the table itself. And Galen, you would feel Irina's hand kind of reach out and touch your shoulder. And Madam Eva's body just kind of goes stiff. She looks down at the cards, looks up. Her eyes have clouded over. And with a quick little flap,
They're turning!
turns the next first card. She says, "This card tells of history, and while it may seem irrelevant, knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand the enemy. Knowledge in its form, it is its own power. This card, the Traders, Three of Coins, look to the Wizard of Wines. In wood and sand, the treasure hides."
And is she speaking to us all as a group with this?
Mhm. So the handout is going to be saved in here for you guys to reference if you don't want to jot it all down right now. Just so you guys know. And again, the lights flare. This card tells of a powerful force of good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope. I see a garden dusted with snow. It's watched over by a scarecrow with a sackcloth grin. Look not to the garden, but to the guardian. Oh, let me show it to you. And once more, the candle lights flare. The Nine of Stars. This card is of power and strength. It tells of a weapon, a vengeance, a sword of sunlight. I see a dead village, drowned by a river, ruled by one who brought great evil into the world. Be very cautious. Once more, the candle lights flare. The Horseman. This fourth card, it will shed light on who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. I see a dead man of noble birth, guarded by his widow. Return life to the dead man's corpse, and he will be your staunch ally. And for a final time, the candlelights flare and then flicker back on. Your enemy is a creature of darkness, whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him when you feel it is time. Look to the Father's tomb. And then the candlelights flare brightly for a moment, almost blinding you. Madame Eva slumps at the table, her eyes rolling before finally her eyelids flutter open. And she's back. Well, I hope that will be of use to you. It really takes it out of you, huh?
Madam Eva, Strahd knows that you're telling us this.
Strahd is the land. Nothing happens here that he doesn't know.
And do you give this kind of information to all adventurers that are pulled into Barovia?
If they come and seek it.
Are we able to speak with you privately, Madam Eva?
In a moment. But first, Tran looks at Irina for a moment. I must see to a guest. And she stands up and walks towards the tent. And as she opens the tent, you can see beyond her the regular festani, the fire. You see, though, that Araja is speaking to a very tall, broad-shouldered, pale man with dark hair. And he looks towards Madame Eva, looks past her, catches a glimpse towards you, smile. And you see that it is Strahd. Madame Eva walks out of the tent and closes the fabric.
And leaves us in the tent alone?
Mm-hmm. For the moment.
Strahd, did you see that Strahd's out there now?
Is he here for Irina?
Oh, I didn't think of that. What is Irina doing?
Her eyes are wide. Her grip on your shoulder, Galen, is now like a
Yeah.
vice.
Evander's like, we need to hide her. If he comes in here and sees Irina, who knows what he'll do.
We can end this now, laddies.
At this point, the fabric opens. Madame Eva walks in. Strahd behind her.
Looks like like,
Yeah, Evander's
scrambling
taking
away.
a step. Evander's stepping back as he sees Strahd walking.
Irina jumps up walks towards the back, her hand on her rapier. Strahd puts his hands up. Oh, my friends. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot, but I mean you no harm. I am just here to have my reading at full tide with Madame Eva here. So let's all not be too hasty, huh?
Do you often seek Madame Eva's readings?
Well, she is a very knowledgeable woman. Quite frankly, I get bored. So yes, every now and then at full tide, I come and I will see what the cards have in store for me.
When
no
he
one Madame Eva.
when he mentions the card, Evander wants to go and like turn over all the cards so that he doesn't see
Okay.
what we saw, just to like kind of hide them and shuffle them.
Sure. He just kind of chuckles, seeing you're frantic. Oh God!
Yeah.
Look. I do not mean you any harm. Okay?
Sounds
Again.
like lies.
To each their own, if that's what you think. In fact, I come as a thank you for protecting my love. And he looks back at Irina. More importantly, I would like to get to know you all a little. In 10 days, if you so are inclined, again, I'm not going to force your hand, but I would invite you to have dinner at my place. In safety. I promise no harm will come to you. Just to chat. I would like you all to know more about myself and my land. And I do wish to know more about you. Since after all, I don't think you'll be going anywhere. So, I feel like we should just be friends. No?
No.
So be it.
What guarantee can you give us?
That he gives you, Galen, if looks could kill. He sees you as a challenge, and he's ready to eat you up.
I just give him the look like I don't give a shit. You want to do this? Let's do this. This is just not going down. We are not going to be friends. We're not going to have any more conversations like this.
At this point, Madame Eva, she speaks up. This pool is a place of peace. Therefore, if you do not welcome our guests, as you have been welcomed as guests in our encampment, then I suggest you leave.
Evander would want to go and put a hand on Galen's shoulder, just to kind of reinforce that he's got a friend there.
Right. Strahd has promised that no harm will come to you tonight. Vistani are not looking to harm you either. So please, whatever feelings you have right now, deal with them later.
Evander would like to ask, while he's got Strahd right in front of him, what kind of guarantee can you give that would convince us that we would be safe going into your home?
I am a man of my word. If you do not trust me in my home, well then if you would like to choose the meeting place, I would be okay with that. But you have heard Madame Eva, and I'm a very busy man. So
I take Arena and I keep myself in front of her and Strahd, and I just put away my axe
okay.
and I look at him and I just go, Laddie, the time for honoring yourself will soon be at an end.
Oh, I can't wait.
And I go like this for him to move aside as I walk past.
With the flourish, she does move to the side to allow you and Irina to walk past.
And I just go, good dog.
Evander wants to kind of push Galen faster as he walks behind him, like, go, 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 don't.
It's like good old dog.
Yeah. Evander's like, stop poking Tim with a stick as he tries to move him out faster.
All right, I love it.
Ulrich will be the last to exit the tent,
Okay.
unless Conard's doing something.
Nothing in
I don't know,
particular.
but Tasso, if you guys have noticed, has not said a word since the introduction. Not just because he's not here,
I'm like, yeah.
but in seriousness, he has not said anything since the initial introduction for Madame Eva. In fact, he didn't even seem to be paying attention to the actual card reading itself. He seems very much lost in his own thoughts and almost absent-mindedly, without even having control over what he's doing. The moment, you all kind of make your way out, he just continues walking outside of the camp. Scruffles is following at his heels. He says nothing to you guys. And you see him just continue walking. You can still see him through the tree line itself, but he is keeping his distance from the actual camp.
Ulrich would, well, as Ulrich's leaving the tent, seeing Tasso be so strange, and as Strahd is standing there, Ulrich will just look up from his cowl and just actually make eye contact with Strahd, just give a quick little nod, and then scurry out the tent door.
Okay.
And then he'll run after Tasso, like, Tasso, are you okay? What's wrong?
He just kind of shoves you away,
Ugh.
saying anything, and marches on.
Ulrich will look back and call the others, like, hey, Tasso's being weird, something happened.
Evander's gonna say Tasso's always weird. He loves to go off by himself.
But that's not safe.
As long as we can see him and he's not, going off by himself, I think it's fine. Maybe something Madame Eva said messed with his head.
Ulrich will scurry up a little more, but stay out of melee range, and say, Tasso, are you okay? And just call after him.
He just looks back at you, and then moves his gaze forward.
Just no
Nothing.
expression.
Mm-mm.
Can I do an insight check to see what maybe is bothering him or what happened to him?
You said it's +4?
+4, but the disadvantage still
Oh, yeah.
applies.
I mean, obviously, you picked up right away that he's off. Something is off. He's not wanting to engage with you guys right now. You don't really know what maybe triggered it. Maybe it was seeing Strahd. Maybe it was something that Eva said. Maybe it's just something that he does. You don't know him that well, so you're not able to really pinpoint exactly what's bothering him.
Okay, I'll just let him walk away, I guess. And Scruffles, you said, went after him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'd merely call out to Ulrich, just keep an eye on him, laddie. Don't let him get too far away.
Yeah, Ulrich's just wants just to keep him in line of sight if possible.
Okay. Sure. What's the rest of you guys doing?
As we're leaving, Conrad would like to watch Madame Eva and try to see what she thinks about Strahd's presence here. Is she comfortable with it? Is she fearful or...
No. She's comfortable and casual.
Evander would be like berating Galen and saying, "What are you doing? Try to pick a fight with big bad Mambo Jumbo out of nowhere. You know what he could do to us?"
Doesn't matter what he could do to us, laddie. We're in his lands. According to the madam, we're playthings anyways.
Yeah, but at least now we have a little bit of help. Maybe we can prepare before we, try to poke a stick at the bear before we even have the honey to lure him away.
I don't understand what that means.
Evander says, "Me neither, but don't poke bears with sticks."
Don't back down and be a coward, laddie.
There's a difference between cowardice and being prepared.
Fair and understandable.
We need to be ready before we decide to take him on.
But how
Back off.
ready can we ever really be, laddie?
Well, I would say more ready than after a night of fighting some crazy guy who just made us go insane a little bit. We could at least have a nice bit of rest before we pick a fight.
Fine. I won't pick any more fights or poke the bear.
Thank you. That's all I ask. Oh,
But he's going to fall under my axe one way or another, laddie.
I
At
know,
this point,
Galen.
you see Araja and Rena come over, and they say, "Are you hungry? Because we just finished dinner and we have extra, and as guests, we would like to feed you."
Do you have ale?
We do.
I'll take the largest one you have.
You got it. This way.
Can Ulrich hear this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. He's like looking at Tasso and then the thought of food and he's kind of holding his stomach. Ugh, okay. He's gonna make sure Tasso seems like okay not going further into the forest. Was he just kind of hanging out near the
Just
clearing?
kind of hanging out there.
Okay.
So we're not going any further in.
Okay.
I'll move you guys over here. But yes, so you could even, if you really want to, you can even position yourself in a way that you can still kind of keep where he is sitting, and go and eat some food at the main central fire.
Okay. Ulrich would do that. But
Okay.
we'll of course look at what they're serving and be suspicious of it.
Okay. So they are serving some type of roast meat. It does maybe look like a pork of some sort.
It's pork.
Oh no. Pork is
It's
like
pork.
human.
Dwarves
Not
and pork go really well together.
And some really spiced potatoes with like kind of a thick spicy gravy in them, and then also some type of greens with some butter,
Okay.
like a butter sauce on them.
I am actually hungry now. Okay.
For the pork, if you're willing, there's like this berry sauce.
Ooh. Yes. Ulrich will all of it. He will give a quick sniff, seems okay, and just start chowing down.
Okay. Go ahead then.
Oh no.
Anyone who's going to partake in the meal, who's going to partake?
Conrad will.
Okay.
How hungry is Evander after eating all that pie earlier?
I mean, it's really up to you. I mean, your stomach's not grumbling like Ulrich's is. You did just eat, but it does look enticing, and you do see other people, other Vistani, also eating this.
And Evander doesn't ever turn down a free meal, so yeah, Evander will partake as well.
And Irina's going to partake as well.
Okay. I'm
She
not
kinda-
going to.
She kind of snips it. The spices are something different. I think she hasn't really, had that, but it's enticing. So yeah, she's gonna some.
Yeah, I'm going to, since everyone's now eating and no one's paying attention to Tasso,
Ulrich's watching.
Oh, he was watching.
Ulrich is shoving food down his face. He's not watching.
But facing Tasso.
I'm just gonna eat whatever rations that I have of my
Okay.
own, and keep an eye on Tasso. I don't want him going too far.
Okay. So then everyone except Galen and Tasso, you can remove 4 stress
Yay!
Oh,
Or
nice. Remove
from
four.
having a nice home cooked meal. It's actually like, it's very satisfying, this meal. Maybe more than you maybe expect it, since some of the food you're not very familiar with, but it does, again, just kind of reminds you of your mother's cooking.
Evander
Is
would
that-
actually like to try to convince Galen. He's like, Galen, this is good. Don't just drink, man. You need some food after that stress over there.
Did you
What's
mean it?
Tasso doing?
Tasso is sitting down on the ground. His back is to you guys. So you can see him sitting. His arms seem to be draped across his knees, and he just seems to be maybe meditating, from what you can tell, deep in thought.
In Dungeon Master, you said that when it tastes like our mother's cooking, like that for each one of us separately,
Yeah,
like it
that's the
somehow seems familiar.
yeah, that it gives you that familiar sense of home. Like, it's like nothing's better than a home cooked meal, right? Especially if it's your mama's cooking. I know, I miss it. So
Ulrich starts eating it and kind of cries a little bit.
Ulrich,
I would-
as doing that, your ears kind of perk up when you hear a woman singing. The tone, the melody is from, and you turn around to find where this is coming from, and you see her with one of the toddlers, just kind of holding the baby and playing with it, and singing a little lullaby. And you know it. It's one of the ones that your mother has sung to you many, many years ago.
Is this lullaby in common?
Yes.
Can I? Ulrich will just stop eating and just watch and listen, but trying not to seem like he's staring, but just listening and letting the memories resurface.
And maybe crying again some more.
His hand will kind of end up clutching the locket with his mother's picture. He's going to listen to this for a minute. Is the woman just alone with her baby, or is she with a group?
No, I mean she's not by herself. Pretty much everyone else is like kind of congregating around. Some are eating, some are cleaning up. Just daily tasks.
Or
She's tending to her baby.
he's just going to sit here and kind of process this shock that he just experienced, I guess.
Okay.
And
And
just
as you're doing that, you all can hear someone tuning a guitar. And then finally a melody begins to play. And you begin to see everyone else filter in to the center bonfire here. They all begin taking around, children in their mother or father's lap. The older people, they will get stools. Everyone else is mostly sitting on the ground. And eventually, people begin to kind of clap in tune with the song.
I hear it.
And finally, a young woman, in one of the brightly colored skirts, stands up with a tambourine, and she begins to play. She comes over in the center, in front of the center fire here, and you hear the man that has the guitar. He shouts out, "Valeska, let it begin." And with that, she rattles the tambourine, smacks it once, and she just begins this dance all around the fire. Her body's moving to the music, and you can even hear some drums start up behind her as well. And if you're paying attention, if you take a quick glance at the drummer, you see that he's really focused on the dancer, trying to catch her movements and form the beat to her movement. And she's going around the fire once, twice. Her movements are very rhythmic, but they also have a sense of excitement, a sense of joy, and you can feel that energy spread from her and trickle out into the crowd, who also kind of echo it. And you can just feel the energy between everyone here just gaining, and everyone's hollering. Even a couple people get up and dance with her. You guys feel happy. You even see Irina, kind of moving with the music and dancing a little bit, completely forgotten that Strahd is maybe like 30 feet away from her.
He's still here.
He's still here.
And does this music seem familiar to Ulrich at all?
This music, I would say no. No.
Evander would be fascinated and would want to start to try to, probably with his dulcimer, try to play along to find the rhythm, find the beat, find the melody to quietly, so as not to ruin it because he's entranced by this different style of performance, but try to weave himself into it to see if he can experience it the way they are experiencing it.
Okay. Go ahead. Give me a performance check with disadvantage.
With disadvantage, okay.
Ooh, they're
It's a
much
new
better
musical
musicians
form.
than you.
There's no such thing. No such thing. All right, well, this is one of my best stats. Let's see. Performance. Here we go. Oof. That disadvantage, though.
Quite caught the rhythm of it because, again, it's not following. It's following the dancer.
Mm-hmm.
So if she decides to make a quick shift, make a little pause, and then go like shimmy a little bit faster, the beat has to catch up to her. It takes you a little bit of practice, but you pick up on that. And so with time, you realize you shouldn't be listening to what the other musicians are doing. You should be watching her.
Okay.
And then after that, you're able to kind of get into rhythm and complement the other musician and the dancer herself.
Ulrich, take a look and see if Tasso's still in sight.
Yes, he is still in sight. He has not moved an inch. He hasn't even looked back to see what's going on back here.
Okay. And then he's going to look back towards where Madame Eva was. Is she still outside her tent talking to Strahd, or did they move off?
They were inside the tent when you guys left.
Um,
They are now out of sight in the tent, as far as you know.
okay. Ulrich's just going to keep an eye and see when Strahd leaves, because he would like to speak to Madame Eva again if he gets a chance.
Okay. So at this point, the music begins to die down, and the older gentleman who was playing that guitar, he steps forward, and he says, "Valeska, a beauty, wonderful. You honor us." And he gives like this deep bow, and she gives this sweeping bow and a flurry of her skirts. And then she goes and sits down. At this point, you guys would see movement. You see Madame Eva and Strahd coming out of her tent. They begin walking towards the center here. Madame Eva takes her seat. Strahd stays back, standing and watching. The old man gives Strahd a bow. He turns, kind of looks to everyone. And now, my friends, a story. One that will honor our guest. And again, he motions to Strahd, who just kind of smiles and nods appreciatively. This, I will say, is not one that we would share with outsiders. But with someone as grand as the Lord von Zarevich here amongst us, we need a grand tale to match. And you think so, huh? I shall tell you of the origin of our people, the Vistani. Where have we come from? We now travel the roads. But where did we come from? Where is our home forge? This tale speaks to that. And you see the men and the women, they've all quieted down. Their eyes are focused solely on this man and his voice. And he takes a big swig of this green bottle, spits it into the fire that flares green. And within it, you can see the silhouette of this tall, broad-shouldered man. And he says, Vistan was not our king. nor was he our enemy. Yet, his ambition was great, and his armies mighty. Westward he marched before thousands of legions to conquer the world and make it his. You notice that this man takes a quick glance to Strahd, but he continues. Vistan is not our king, nor was he our enemy, but his resources great, and his army well provisioned. Westward, we followed him, to forge his weapon, to shoe his horses, to heal his wounded. Vistan was not our king, nor was he our enemy. His cause was not ours, nor were his spoils. Yet his defeat was thrust upon us. In the land called Transil, the conqueror was crushed by warriors of a nameless god, and all of his legions were made slaves. We were not. Ourselves were never brought into bondage, for Vistan was not our king. But neither were we allowed to return to our home forge. For the Transilites decreed that none should return with word of what has befallen Vistan and his army. Vistani, they named us. They made us beggars and promised they would murder us if our Vardos ever faced east. Then he motions to Madame Eva. The Kaldresh rose up among us and spoke of a vision which taught him that the world was round and we should find our home forge if we continue to always move west. He takes a moment to kind of look at the Vistani. Vistan was not our king, nor was he our enemy. Yet forever we bear his name and his fate. For the world is truly flat, and we shall never see our homeland. If you guys take a moment to kind of check the crowd, it's very somber. You kind of get an idea of what the Vistani have been dealing with their entire lives. They wander the roads. They're homeless. Barovia is not their land. They have no land. And it sinks in why they kind of keep to themselves for the most part. Who else could understand what they've been through? Strahd steps forward. Stanimir, I do hope you know you and your people are always welcome within my border. I appreciate your hospitality. I appreciate all that you've always done. And I'm sorry. He turns to Madame Eva, picks up her hand, gives her a soft kiss on the top of her hand. Madame Eva, as ever, I enjoyed your company. But I know I am not fully welcome here, and my presence would upset your guests. And I do not wish to have any discord on this night. I know these nights are very holy. He turns to you all. Again, I wish to extend an invitation to dine and to talk. in safety. I am a man of my word. You can always count on that. He looks past you, Galen, to Irina, and says, My love, I am glad to see that you are in safe hands. And I, too, would welcome you to Castle Ravenloft any time you see fit. Until then, he bows, and he begins to walk away.
What are the Vistani doing right now?
They're still very quiet. They're just watching and listening. I mean, I would say you guys would get the feeling that this is not the first time Strahd has showed up at their camp. So they're just like, oh, okay. They're maybe the older people might be a little bit tense just because of your presence here and then Strahd, but they're not concerned about Strahd.
So go ahead.
I'm sorry, can you repeat again the name of the people who defeated Viston and enslaved his soldiers?
I'll make this. I'll just make this available to you and read it on your own.
This story that the man told, would Evander have ever heard any of these names? Viston, Transil, Kaldresh, having grown up with a father who is also a storyteller.
This is completely new to you.
Okay.
Oh, I see. I don't know where it is. I share it with you, Zach, once Roll20 lets me do it. Because right now it's being weird.
Yeah, I've been having issues too.
If there's a moment to do so, Ulrich wants to walk up to Madame Eva. Madame Eva, excuse me.
Yes.
Would it be possible to speak with you in private?
Oh, Ulrich, my boy. I knew this was coming. She holds out her hand, expecting you to help her up.
He does.
Okay. Come with me.
Okay.
Before we get into that, though, this is a good time for a break. And maybe I'll reset Roll20 and
All right, very nice. That was an amazing story. The music is definitely adding a nice background.
Yeah.
You'll have to give me links later, Doreen, so I can put that in the description to give credit for all that kind of stuff.
Sure, absolutely.
But so everybody in chat, hope y'all having a good time with story time with Doreen and the gang. And we're gonna take a little 5-10 minute break or so to use the restroom, grab a snack, and all that stuff. And we will be back soon. So we see you all soon.